Speaker, I rise this morning to support this urgency motion, and there is no doubt that following the performance in question time this morning, when repeatedly the government were asked questions about this project that they seem so committed to and unable to make direct and simple responses to these questions, that Tasmanians need to know, why is it that this government is so obsessed with perhaps a $750 million stadium. With the stadiums that I've seen across the country be developed, I can't imagine that this Tasmanian government believe that they will get away with building a stadium for $750 million. But let's say it is that much. Let's say they have done their homework, although it is curious when the first stadium was proposed, when that announcement just sort of came out of nowhere and the scratchings on the back of the envelope said it was $750 million, and now they announce another stadium around the corner and down the road in completely different circumstances, that curiously it's also going to be $750 million. Right. I mean, really, this government have to be able to demonstrate and defend their position on this to the Tasmanian people today. This is urgent because we have Tasmanians that are living in tents, living in cars, sleeping on their friends' couches, sleeping in cars in driveways of former partners where there has been terrible situations occur, so desperate to not be on the street. We have people that are struggling in pain every day, that are not able to live a good life because they're waiting to be served by our health service. We have children in our education system that are struggling to meet the standards required and expected of them because of the failing education system. We have got so many people in our community struggling that cannot believe that this government would continue to be obsessed with the idea of building a stadium, another stadium, a third stadium in Tasmania, a second one in Hobart, at a time when there are so many other priorities that Tasmanians expect this government to be focused on. It is absolutely clear that this government, someone said to me, they've lost the plot. They've got their priorities all wrong, that they do not understand and they are not hearing the concerns from the Tasmanian people, and they are not hearing the message from Tasmanians about what they expect this government to be focused on right now. They do not expect this government to be focused on building another stadium in Tasmania when we have got the perfectly good York Park in Launceston, when there is Bell Reeve down here in the south, where Tasmanians know that they can go and enjoy top-level AFL content right now, here and there. The task force said maybe in the future, but now is not the right time. This government have got their priorities all wrong. It is urgent that the Premier, that the Treasurer, that other ministers off the front bench stand today and defend the position of the government, because Tasmanians don't understand. They don't understand when they're struggling, when their health and the system that is meant to support them is in crisis. They don't understand when the housing system that is meant to be able to support people that are struggling to find a roof over their head, to support them with people that have been waiting not 1, 2, 4, many years for a place to live. They do not understand the priorities of the government. They don't understand how they could be so wrong right now. And as other members from our side have said, what we can't understand is, how does this government continue to defend its position when it doesn't actually even understand what it's really going to cost? What are the actual real capital costs, not just on the build, but all the associated infrastructure? Yeah. What are the operational costs? What are the maintenance costs? Yeah. What's the depreciation? Yeah, what is it going to cost for interest on the borrowings that they're going to take that they don't even know what that full amount is going to be? This is completely irresponsible of this government to enter into commitments, and it was said by a member of this chamber this morning, quoting the Premier when he said there will be a stadium at Macquarie Point. How do you get off being so determined and clear without consideration of Tasmanian people right now who are struggling that you will continue to hold this position, yet disrespectfully not answer the questions that are asked directly and simply of you in this parliament this morning, when you don't actually even respond to questions about the stadium with references to a stadium, and then not stand up now and defend your position? Yeah. This is an urgent matter that Tasmanians need to know where their government's at. They need to know that they've got a government that actually cares enough about them that they would do the work before they make the commitments, that they would understand the true costs that they are committing Tasmanians to, the true debt levels that they are committing Tasmanians to, the true operational, maintenance and all sorts of other burdens, responsibilities that they are committing to Tasmanians to when Tasmanians are struggling. The government still, to this day, stand up and talk about the support that they're providing for Tasmanians in a cost of living crisis. It is clear to me that they have not read the 3P advisory report that demonstrates that 3/4 of Tasmanians are extremely concerned, moderate to extremely concerned about the cost of living pressures going on in this community, and half of them are concerned that it's going to get worse year on year, that there are new demographics of people in our community that are struggling. There are more and more Tasmanians struggling each and every day. Tasmanians between 35 and 54-year-olds, Tasmanians earning $50,000 to $100,000 a year are struggling under the pressures of cost of living, that can't access great healthcare, that can't access housing when they need it, that can't be confident that their children are getting the best level of education because our results are the worst in the country across so many areas. So, Premier, I call on you, I call on the Treasurer, I call on ministers for the front bench to stand up and defend your position, to stand up and defend the position that you're expecting Tasmanians to continue.
The time for the debate has expired.
It is the Premier needs to stand up and defend his position.
Question is.